Good morning. This is the American Shotcrete Association webinar tips for winning. This is discussing our outstanding Shotcrete Project Awards program for those companies that are interested in submitting in our 2019 program. The program, we're going to try to keep it short and sweet, just really down to the basics with a general overview. Why submit your project to ASA, and then going into the submission details, and at the end, questions. We are muting all the participants during the session so we don't get feedback in the audio. We'll unmute at the end and also take any questions that might come in the chat box that's in the dashboard with the GoToMeeting. I'm Charles Hanscat, Executive Director of the American Shotcrete Association. Also have with me today Alice McComas, who's our Assistant Director.
Hi there.
And those of you who may not know, ASA is the International Trade Association representing the shotcrete industry. And we have a vision that structures built or repaired with shotcrete process are accepted as equal or superior to cast concrete. And we do that through our mission and getting out the word about shotcrete, how shotcrete with quality materials, right equipment, proper placement can provide a superior concrete in place. We provide this by knowledge resources. We have a lot of resources online on our website. We also provide qualification of contractors. We are the sponsoring group that does ACI nozzleman certification around the world. We also have education sessions for inspectors to have shotcrete inspectors get the word about what's the right way to inspect shotcrete. And we also spend a lot of time and effort in working with standard developing organizations. So when they write new codes or standards or reports, that they properly cover and include shotcrete. So we're coming down to our Outstanding Shotcrete Project Awards program. This is actually part of getting out the word that shotcrete is quality. Shotcrete can do a variety of things. And we're doing it by demonstrating the projects that are physically being constructed. This isn't an architectural rendering. These are things that are actually being done out in the field by our members. One of the requirements for submittal is that one person, one entity within the project team is a member of ASA. We do this annually. This is the 15th year for our awards program. We typically open the program up for submittals in spring, soon after the previous year's award banquet, where the awards are given. And this year we'll close October the 1st. The winners are notified by early November. You say, well, geez, that takes you more than a month. What we have to do, we get the submittals in, we review those submittals, compile some information, get it out to the reviewers. The reviewers have to go through, give their rankings, and then that's all pulled together to have the final award winner in each category and any honorable mentions. Then between November and the awards banquet, we do often request additional information, maybe a more descriptive text description on the project or the shotcrete aspects. And then we present the awards at the awards banquet. World of Concrete 2020 will be the next awards banquet. That's in February of 2020. We have 6 different categories that we rank the projects in. And you can see of these 6, there may be some overlap. Sometimes we'll get an international that actually is an infrastructure or maybe a repair and rehab. So one thing you'll find in the application process, we'll ask you to select your category. But the judges may look at it and say, well, this really is standout in another category. So you may be surprised, hopefully not too surprised, if it comes back and you win an award even though you didn't submit in that category. But to give you an idea of the categories, underground, Here's a project. This was international. This is in the UK, but it was given an underground award because this was actually rehab of a tunnel in an existing train system where the trains had to keep running. So they had to build false work to actually do the repair of the upper part of the tunnel while the trains stayed in service underneath. Other examples of underground, East Side Access in New York City has won a number of awards from ASA. This is the subway system that's linking the Long Island Railroad into the main station in New York City. Mining is another application for underground. The picture here in the upper left is the international category. This was a zoo that wanted to have an enclosure for the animals that didn't look like a standard concrete wall or even a chain link fence. So they actually had the shotcrete contractor come in and build it so it looked like the mountains that you can see in the background. And so they colored it, they textured it, and nobody would have known that those rocks were actually not there before. They were built out of shotcrete, made to look like the natural rockscape. Pool and recreational is another category. Pools are a lot more than just a rectangular concrete pond in the ground anymore. Here you can see an example with multiple levels. There's a spa on the top. There's infinity edges, benches in here, having to basically integrate with the stonework around the outside. Other aspects of pool and recreational, skate parks have gotten several awards from us in the past. There was a wave pool that for surfing, actually international surfing competitions where part of the wall of the wave pool was made out of shotcrete, and shotcrete actually facilitated the ability to build the facility. Other would be, we've given an award for Olympic sledding runs, bobsled and luge runs that have used shotcrete to create the undulating, non-straight runs going down the mountains for the Winter Olympics. Repair and rehab is a huge part of the shotcrete industry. Here you can see a tunnel. This is in New York City that use shotcrete for rehab. But we've had award winners that have been highway bridges that have had a lot of deterioration from salt intrusion over the years, parking garages. We've had seismic retrofits out in Berkeley. The university's stadium needed to meet new seismic codes, and shotcrete was used to build significant strengthening of the walls. Historic restoration, where you have a building that's masonry that has to be strengthened for the new wind codes and the new seismic codes, where we actually come in and build a structural concrete wall in place behind the masonry. Keep the same look, but it's got the strength of shotcrete behind it. So repair is a big aspect. Here, infrastructure. This is the Oroville Dam reconstruction of the spillway. The spillway failed when the dam basically overflowed, and the old spillway was found to not work properly. So they had to stabilize these slopes with shotcrete to be able to come in and finish the final construction. So shotcrete was a key part of that. And then architectural new construction is a really broad category we have. We've had architectural that's been a music hall that had curved panels for acoustics. We had another that was a museum where they used shotcrete for undulating panels. There was no flat spots in the museum facade. It was all basically done with curved forms for shotcrete. And here, the picture that I'm showing, this is a volcano that's built for a theme park in Orlando. It's a water ride where people go to the top and ride down through, and it's all built out of shotcrete with water flowing through.
So why submit? We submit for the industry to recognize and celebrate winners. Drawing on the amazing potential which shotcrete brings to a project, this program highlights these achievements, and by celebrating these accomplishments, gains recognition for shotcrete across the industry. We announce our winners and promote them like crazy. Our Awards banquet is a featured event each year. This year it'll be held at World of Concrete in Las Vegas on February 4th, 2020. Winners will have the opportunity to showcase their work at the banquet in a quick presentation. The winners are promoted in our annual awards issue of Shotcrete magazine, our e-newsletter, What's in the Mix, through various social media channels, press releases, and our website. Winners are encouraged to like and share our postings and to spread the word. New this year, we'll also be providing winners with a press kit to help you promote this achievement. Winning gives companies a competitive edge and enhances your credentials when bidding on new projects. The program also serves to challenge peers to up their game, recognizing what others have done and wanting to remain competitive. We find that most shotcrete contractors love what they do and want to do more. It's exciting to see excellent work. And for specifiers, we will frequently point to winning projects as examples when presenting to specifiers, engineers, and architects. Examples of what has been done naturally promotes and encourages designers to consider shotcrete for their next project.
Just to point out, we do certainly print these in Shotcrete magazine with nice descriptions, but in our press releases, a lot of times those have been picked up by Concrete Construction in their magazine or online. We've had promotion within ICRI's Concrete Repair Bulletin. So there's a lot of visibility. This is a marketing opportunity for you as a company to get out the word about your company, the great things you can do with shotcrete that maybe you can't do individually, but with the reputation, the credibility that we have as an association and being an award winner from ASA, that gives you a lot of clout. And hopefully that's attractive to you to go through the application process.
So, submission details. Here's the heart of why we're here today, to give you tips for winning. We'll walk through the application sections, highlighting things to keep in mind from each. So, how do you get started? You can go to our website, www.shotcrete.org/ASA Outstanding Projects. And you'll see this page with the button right there to apply now, which takes you to the link below with the Open Waters platform, and that'll take you to this page. If this is your first time, you'll need to register. ASA uses Open Waters as a platform for a number of things, including the application for our contractor qualification program, convention registrations, and so you just need to register once and you'll have access to a variety of ASA things. To start the application, once you've registered, you'll see this page, and this starts your new entry. Remember to save after each section. There are 5 sections. You'll see them after Charles logs in.
And also, this just points out there's a dashboard on the side that will, as you, if you do multiple applications or if you haven't finished even one application, you'll show that you have application in progress. Also, you can get to your completed applications.
So each of these sections over here, you can click on them and page through to look at what we're asking you if you want to before you actually start.
Give you an idea. So here, this is basically the flow of the application. Entry guidelines is the top here. We can look at contact information. You'll enter this information, pretty generic title, location, what category, your contact info. And then project team. You'll come in, offer basically and we'll talk a little bit more about this. There's some radio buttons, there's some text fields. And then you can go to project details, start date, end date. We'll talk about prices. There's descriptions of the projects. All these are web-based. And then supporting materials, this will be where you actually upload your images to the website for the application.
Just to go back to contact information for a second, this is about you, our main contact for all questions regarding this application. You'll be asked to select a category, as Charles mentioned earlier, and you can select as many as you'd like, but I recommend checking the one you think your project would be most competitive in. The judges will place you in the most favorable category for your success, but if you just pick the one where you think you'll be most successful in, don't worry, because as we mentioned earlier, we know that you can fit into a multiple categories, and we want you to do well, so we will find a place where you would best succeed. Remember to save and submit each section as you move along. And if you are not prompted for payment at the end, know that you've not submitted. There's an application fee of $50 per entry, and you'll receive a receipt email when you've successfully submitted. This allows you to start and stop, so you don't have to finish it all in one sitting. You can take your time to go through it, and you can also review with coworkers if you like. And okay, moving on to the project team. Tell us who is on your project team. The rules require that at least one member of your project team has an ASA membership, but this is waived for international entries. Don't worry if you're not sure. Most of the major equipment manufacturers or material suppliers are members. You can always ask your team members or give us a call to check. You can answer to the best of your knowledge, but know that we'll verify. So chances are there's definitely someone on your team that's a member. When you are describing your experiences, do not be specific with company names or individuals. Use generic terms such as shotcrete contractor or general contractor, architect, engineer. We do not want to bias the judges, so we want to keep you anonymous. We don't want to influence them either positively or negatively. And so please, 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 in the description sections, do not put company names or individual names. As you can see here as well, these are the awards that you'll be winning. As the submitting company, you're the one who will receive this award, but know that all team members and project owners have the opportunity to purchase this award with their company name on it. And speaking of project owners, if you win, we will require a release from the project owner. A copy of this release is available if you have any concerns that your project owner may object, in which case we could not present you with the award, but that's something that we do require for winners once we've identified you.
So I've been a reviewer for the project awards for a number of years, even before I was the executive director. And some of the things we look at, one of the things is how big is the project? We asked for prices. It's not mandatory in terms of what was the overall project cost. You know, if it was Eastside Access, it's probably $1 billion, and shotcrete was a big part of it. But we also would like to know, you know, what part of that project was shotcrete. So if there's a dollar value you can put on that, it's helpful for the judges to get an idea of size. If we saw a $50 million job and it had $5,000 of shotcrete, we might say, well, you know, is that really showing us shotcrete as the primary aspect, not maybe primary, but an essential aspect of that project? And it may well have been. I'm not trying to discount that, but give us an idea of the scope. Project description, describe what the project is overall, but then give us information on how shotcrete was used on the project. You can talk about the access issues. Was it an unusual shape? Were there scheduling issues? We had one project, we gave them an award. It was a good underground project, but they had a lot of access issues because they could only get in at each side of the underground tunnel, and it was through a manhole, and so they had to bring all their men and equipment in through this one manhole. It was quite challenging. So if you can describe these kinds of things in the project description and the shotcrete significance, it's helpful for the judges to be able to know what you really did. What was your creative part of that project? And once again, remember, they should have generic terms. The shotcrete contractor, the general contractor, don't use specific names. Even concrete supplier, just concrete supplier. And if you can talk about sustainability, a lot of projects, Alice mentioned, we take these, we keep these in our gallery. This is something when we go out and talk to engineers, DOTs, architects, we generally will use a lot of our award-winning projects as examples of the right way to use shotcrete. And sustainability is something that we do see architects interested in. Sustainability means that we're using less formwork, we're using more efficient sections. Maybe we can do a tapered wall or a curved wall much more easily than you would get with standard form and pour type of work. Time savings. All these things lead to sustainability, enhanced sustainability when we're using shotcrete.
Supporting materials. Pictures are really worth 1,000 words. Show construction pictures as well as finished project photos. They can really be a game changer. Include both landscape and portrait orientation, as both would be helpful for promotional materials when you win. And when showing action shots, please make sure your employees are wearing the proper PPE. And hint, upload your best wow image first. That will be the thumbnail image judges see when reviewing your application and might be encouraging for them to click on your application to read through first. We ask for a minimum of 2, and we give you the option of sending up to 12. I would recommend sticking to the 12 limit if at all possible. It helps you to look through and choose wisely. We did have one situation where someone sent a Dropbox full of pictures, and there was one that showed a bad practice that negatively affected the judge's perception of an otherwise great project. So, look at what you're sending us. It also would be nice if you could name your images. There's not a space for you to write anything, but if you name your images, you provide us with some additional context or a mini caption for what judges are looking at. And then when you win, you will also be asked to sign a photo release form that we may use to that we may use your images to promote you in our future publications, because it's all about promoting you. We want you to shine. We want to help you tell the world what a great project that you've accomplished.
So that's the presentation. Any questions? I do see a question. What are my chances of winning? We don't get many thousands of entries, but your chances of winning are much better than getting hit by lightning or getting a hole-in-one on the golf course. We do have roughly 250 corporate members. Corporate members are open to submitting applications, and sometimes companies will submit multiple applications, but you have pretty good chances of winning. And I mentioned before, we do have award winners in each category, but we often, almost universally, have honorable mentions. So you may not be a winner, but you'd be honorable mention for an outstanding shotcrete awards, or shotcrete project award, and still get a lot of the same benefits: the marketing, the ability to be in a press release. And that should actually hopefully reinforce that it's worth spending the time to go through the application and submit the projects.
What's the time frame for this year's project submissions? Projects must be completed between January 1st, 2017 and September 1st, 2019. So this is a pretty big time period, and this is also the completion of the shotcrete portion. So the whole project doesn't need to be done, but the shotcrete portion does. It is nice if the whole project can be done because then you get better finish shots. But don't be limited if it's such a large project that it's going to be multiple years before the rest of the project's done. And what if I want to make changes after submissions? That's a good question. You can always send a quick email to us at info@shotcrete.org asking us to open your submission, and then you can make changes anytime up until October 1st, which is the due date.
So what if my image is too large to upload? You could either send a lower resolution version of it. We do like the high res, especially when we get a winner that we want to put in the magazine with an article about the project. But you can actually email that, info@shotcrete.org. You could upload it to Google Drive or OneDrive or Dropbox, send us a link, and then we can get that to the judges. Any other questions? Well, thank you for your time today and attention. And if you have any questions, please feel free to call us. I can guarantee you Alice will have the answers that I may not. So if Alice isn't here, you can ask me, but Alice will be the primary contact for the awards program. And your phone number?
It's on the screen, 248-848-3780.
And info@shotcrete.org. So thank you for your attention today, and good luck on your award submittals. Have a good day. Thank you.